If someone were to ask you, which sacrament is the first we experience, we would all probably be tempted to answer the sacrament of baptism. But that wouldn't be right. The sacrament of baptism is the first sacrament we receive. But the first sacrament we're exposed to, for most of us, is a different sacrament. It is the sacrament of our parents' marriage. Ideally, children are brought into this world under the sign, the sacramental sign of a love between a man and a woman. And that love gives rise to the life of the newborn child. And entering this world, the child opens his or her eyes and beholds this sign. All the sacraments are visible signs of the invisible presence and power of Christ in different ways. And the sacrament of holy matrimony, likewise, is a visible sign of Jesus and his love for us, his love for the church. It is by this sign that Jesus blesses and touches the little children born into this world, as we hear in the gospel. He says, "Let the little children come to me." And the way we cooperate with that summons is through the sacrament of matrimony. Even if your parents were not married when they had you, chances are, in your young life, you had some contact with a man and a woman married before the altar of God. And that man and woman, perhaps a neighbor, perhaps your grandparents, an uncle or an aunt, were a sign, a concrete sign of what the love of Jesus looks like. Those of you who are married here are such a sign, a very important sign for the world. Many people who are afraid of church, who would run away from me as a priest, nevertheless bump into you and your spouse. And bumping into you, they bump into a sacrament, a sign that communicates the invisible presence and power and love of Christ. This beautiful truth helps to explain the promises that Catholics make on their wedding day. Promises that the world finds very difficult to understand. The first promise that a man and a woman make to one another on their wedding day is to be true to one another until death, to love to the very end. In this, they are promising to love as Jesus loves us, to the very end. And this explains the hard teaching we hear on the lips of Jesus when asked about divorce. The reason Catholics do not believe in divorce and remarriage, quite simply, is that Jesus does not swap us out when he gets tired of us, because he doesn't get tired of us. And even if we get tired of him and walk out on him and live as if he didn't exist, he still waits for us to come back. He loves us and does not give up on us, and is willing to wait many, many long and hard years for us to return to him. That's the kind of love we promise on our wedding day. Likewise, we promise openness to life. And in this, again, we fulfill the command of Jesus, let the children come to me. When a man and a woman promise to be open to life, they are promising to participate in God's creative power. That's why we call it procreation. A husband and wife that bring a child into the world participate in this miraculous divine power to bring new life, children, into the world. The truth is, brothers and sisters, no one can live up to their promises on their wedding day without the help of the one whose love they are pledging to imitate. As Archbishop Fulton Sheen famously said, it takes 3 to get married: a man, a woman, and God. Because only having tasted the love of God, the love of Jesus, this unbreakable, undying, life-giving love, can we have any hope of sharing it with another person till death do us part. Even the trials and the sufferings and the hardships of marriage are part of this sign of God's untiring love. Love hurts. Love cuts us. But when we invite Jesus into it, those wounds heal. They heal the hardness of our hearts. And they teach us little by little to love as Jesus loves until the very end. No matter where you stand in your marriage, whether you have a happy marriage, a difficult marriage, whether you are separated right now, Jesus is with you. He wants to teach you his love. He wants you to come close to him so that he can hold you close to his heart where true love is found. Only there can we share the love for which we all hunger. Only with Jesus can we live up to our promises and so reflect him in our lives and live out a sign of his presence and love that the world so desperately needs to see and to be invited to the source of all love, this place where Jesus makes himself present to us.